Welcome to Over 50 TV. My name is Lou Reyes. In this video, I'm going to be telling you about 5 coworkers you need to avoid when you are over 50. And specifically, what I'll do is I'll tell you about 5 types of coworkers that could impact your productivity, could impact your happiness, and maybe even impact your health if you associate with these people. I imagine most of you who have worked for decades, most of you have met folks just like the ones that I'm going to describe in this video. What I'll do is I'll tell you about 5 different types of people. Then I'm going to do is give you some of what I just would call the symptoms of these folks. Then I'll also tell you why it's just so important to avoid them if you want to be happy at your job. I'll tell you what they are, who they are, and what they do right after this break. Welcome back to Over 50 TV. My name is Lou Reyes. As I said before the break in this video, what I want to do is I just want to tell you about 5 coworkers you need to avoid. And I'm going to say this, you need to avoid them if you're over 50, but you need to avoid them at all costs. So we're going to be talking about that in just a couple seconds here. Before I do, I just want to mention I have a brand new website that I've launched. It's called over50tv.com, and on that website you're going to see a lot more information. You're going to see articles and videos and basically helpful tips that you're not going to see on YouTube. That's because I just don't have the ability to share with you a lot of the information that I can do on over50tv.com. So if you get a few moments, hop over there, check out over50tv.com. Make a comment on a couple of the articles that you read. I do have some videos up there as well, so you can check those out too. But make a comment or two. Let me know your thoughts. But now let's go to our video. I'm excited to tell you about 5 coworkers you need to avoid if you're over 50. Every workplace has one or more of the 5 types of coworkers. 5 coworkers you need to avoid if you're over 50 years old. And I suspect you probably met 2 or 3 of them in your lifetime if they're not at the current company you're working at. Now, before I get into the 5, I do want to say to you, though, I'm going to assign them. I'm going to give them a fictitious name. And I'm doing that for a couple of reasons. One is it kind of helps me to keep track of the people, the person I'm going to be talking about, the category. But also, it may help you relate to one of these folks that you've got to avoid. And I'm going to start with a person that I actually am going to dub Rick the Lazy. Now, Rick the Lazy is a person that I'm sure you've seen a few times at your job. They're usually a self-centered person. They feel entitled, and they're usually spoiled. They often get by with an outgoing personality and some big smile. These are people that don't work hard, and they just don't work hard because not much is expected of them. They've had it easy. They've had it easy all of their life, and they expect work to be easy too. Everything has been handed to them, and that includes the job that they have right now, and usually it also includes, as they were growing up, it includes an expensive education. It includes all the toys that their parents could give them. They've had it easy. Yeah, they've had it easy all of their life. And you know what they do? They fake their way through life. They don't contribute much, and you know what? Because much isn't expected of them. But I'm going to say this about Rick the Lazies. They're fun, or can be fun to be around, and they're fun because really nobody takes them seriously. If you want to be taken seriously, if you want to be productive, if you want to avoid the drama at work, well, don't associate with the Rick the Lazy. Keep your distance. Sue the gossip. 90%, or I suspect 90% of all office gossip begins and ends with a Sue. Sues are usually likable, they're sweet, they're cute, and they always know who's coming and going, and more than likely, they also know who's sleeping with who. If you want to know what's going on in your company, just pull a Sue aside, because she's always willing to talk. But I'm going to tell you something, beware of this. Hers is a reciprocal agreement. If she gives you information, you can bet she wants some in return. And be careful, I'm going to tell you, because Sue will always be digging for personal information about your life. And she does that so she can turn around and gossip about you. She's got no loyalty. She enjoys the gossip. She enjoys injecting herself into every situation. She's not anyone you trust in your personal life, so don't trust her in your professional life. Sandra, the overly ambitious. You know, I admire ambitious people. I admire them because they know what they want, they work hard, and they won't give up until they reach their goal. They are determined to succeed, and I always will admire folks who are determined to be successful. But you know, overly ambitious Sanders, they're apex predators. They are determined to move up that food chain, and they are determined to do that as fast as possible. And they don't really care if they anger their coworkers. They don't care if they ruin relationships. They are blind to all the rules of engagement, and they will step on you or over you, or they'll go through you to get what they want. And one thing I've seen, one thing I know is they'd sell their mother if it benefits them, and that, my friends, is no joke. In their mind, they justify everything they do. They justify their actions. And Sandra's, they're office tyrants in the making, and they are extremely, from what I have seen, they are extremely insecure and eager to prove they are better than you. If you're determined, if you are truly determined to go for the same prize that one of those overly ambitious Sanders are going for, well, I will say this: be prepared, because you will have a fight on your hands. Fred the greedy. You know, Fred's let other people do all the work, and they want to take all the credit, but most often than not, they also want all the reward, not just part of the reward. You know, Fred's love telling you, hey, I've got your back, I'm on your side. And they are. They're on your back. They're on your side. They definitely have your back. That is until you're in their way, and then they'll gladly throw you under the bus. Any bus. They don't care. What they want is that prize. You know, coworkers like Fred, they're successful at getting what they want, not because they're talented, not because they possess any special skill or great brain power. Their one skill, and I'll give them this, their one skill is they're great manipulators. They're good at lulling unsuspecting coworkers into the false sense of security, and they do this before they chop off their head. Last on my list of 5 coworkers you need to avoid if you are over 50, I'm just going to call him Tom the Kisser. Now, Tom's behavior, this behavior goes by some other names, and probably heard kissing up, sucking up, brown nosing. There's probably a few more that I haven't thought about or can't think about right now. But people like Tom, they see as the easiest way for them to get in good with their boss. It's the easiest way for them to get ahead. And just like Fred the Greedy, they are also great manipulators. You know, Toms are the first to agree with the boss. Yeah, you know what? You're right. They're the first to laugh at their dumb jokes. They're the first to praise their boss in a meeting. And you know what? They're also the first to defend that boss if that boss makes an outrageous statement or a dumb decision. Yeah, they're going to come to the defense. That's what they do. People like Tom, they're just nervous people, nervous folks who constantly are constantly afraid, and they also talk nonstop. They're also great actors. They'll tell stories, dumb stories they don't believe if they think it'll get them ahead, if they think it'll ingratiate themselves with their boss. Now, if you make a mistake, if you make an error, say you come into work one day, you come in late, boss is going to be the first one that Tom's going to go to and let that boss know that you were late. And he doesn't care. He doesn't care if you're upset about it. All that matters to Tom is that the boss is happy. It's just like I see it just like a dog who all they want, all they crave is that pat on the head. All they crave, they want to know that that boss is happy with them. If that boss kicks them in the ass a couple times, they don't care as long as the boss is happy. My suggestion is this: stay away from them, because what will happen is eventually, if you're around a Tom So you get that reputation. The boss will expect you to also be an. It's best to stay away from Tom the. Well, there you go, my friends. I've just given you 5 coworkers you need to avoid if you are over 50 years old. And more often than not, what I find is the folks that I mentioned, the type of people that I mentioned, are basically toxic. There's no benefit. There's no real benefit to you to hang around with them or to get close to them whatsoever. I do want to mention something too, and I guess this is something that I've seen in a movie, and I thought I would go ahead and just say it here. Any similarity to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidental. And I think most of us have heard that sentence or a variation of that sentence as we watch one of those those scary sci-fi movies. Well, let me tell you this. Most of these people that I just talked about, they're scary, and they probably are in sci-fi movies or should be in a sci-fi movie themselves. So that's all I got for you today. I just want to mention or restate that I do have a brand new website, over50tv.com. Check it out if you're inclined. I'm going to have a lot more information on that site, especially as time goes by and I can add more stories. Our writers can add more content to it. I know it can be a valuable tool, just as I know that the Career Fit or Career Aptitude test can be a valuable tool to you as well. So that's all I got for you, as I said. And as I always say, have a great day, everybody.